Our view at GMCDP is that we think there should be an extension of the right to control trailblazers because, as the final report pointed out, right to control took a lot longer to bed in than they initially thought, and also they recognised there was some resistance both from the staff that dealt with right to control issues, but also from service users. So we believe there is a need to extend the Trailblazer. I suppose our concern is that needs to be fully resourced, and that needs to include supporting disabled people, primarily in Greater Manchester through the design group, to still keep engaged as a collective group. I think there is a real strength that the Right to Control Design Group offer the Manchester Area Partnership, and that sort of collective knowledge. It'd be a real shame if that was lost if there wasn't resources to continue to fund that group.
I wholeheartedly agree with a 12-month extension to the Right to Control Trailblazer, partly because I came on board halfway through, and from a personal and professional point of view, I would like to continue working within services in Manchester and making stronger contacts with other professionals and like-minded individuals throughout the Manchester area partnership. I feel that there is still a lot of work to do in terms of embedding the fundamental principles of right to control, embedding, and I suppose what I'm trying to say is that I feel that some of the barriers to implementing right to control are to do with the culture within the large organisations that we work for, and I think the 12 months would give us extra time to try and address those the people themselves, families, customers, whatever the current phraseology is, are all firmly behind right to control, having choices, rights, independence. In learning disabilities, for me, it's a natural extension of what Valuing People 2001 was aiming for, and we've had Valuing People in learning disabilities for over 10 years, and we still haven't embedded. So I think a couple of years on right to control is not enough. We do need to carry on, and it's now time to firmly try and look at what's happening at the most senior strategic levels.
Research seems to indicate that it needs to be looked at for a further 12 months, of which I'm very supportive. It's a big change, a big culture change. The actual idea of right to control going across the country. There is, however, a little bit of a caveat or concern as to whether all the partners that are part of right to control are going to be continued to be worked with for the 12 months. And there seems to be a little bit of a question mark over as to whether the design group, for example, part of the Manchester Centre for Independent Living, will continue. And I find it difficult to understand if the Trailblazer project is being continued for a year, then I would have thought that all parties involved would have continued to be involved.
I do strongly believe that there should be a 12-month extension for the right to control for a number of reasons. The time frame that we've had to try and implement rights control as part of the personalisation agenda hasn't been very long. When you consider the depth and breadth of change that's required in terms of culture, which, if we're thinking about this honestly, it's probably the first time that there has been a whole systemic change required that is done positively and proactively and not in response to a tragedy or a disaster, then I think there's been an awful lot of expectations within that short time frame. We've done some good work, we've made some mistakes, and I think the 12-month extension will give us time to actually embed what we've tried to do, to support the local authorities with the culture change that's required. And that's not just about changing thinking, practice, attitude, it's about changing their systems as well. Because systems are still actually directing the way people think and practice, and we need to change that completely round. So it's whole organisational change that's required. There is change required from disabled people in the way that they think, in what their expectations are. There is change required from disabled people's organisations and user-led organisations. This period will give us time to actually work more closely with those groups and those people who have such a vital, crucial role to play in ensuring that personalisation becomes the norm, becomes everyday business, and doesn't become different and separate. And it would help, I think, in ensuring that communities become more active in developing local support systems that are peer-led by local people who have local knowledge and are aware of the local issues. So, yes, it should be extended for 12 months. That would give us time to build and consolidate on what we've done and address the massive changes in culture that are required at all levels, both in organisations, in local communities and in society as a whole. Thank you.
I do believe that rights control should be extended for another 12 months so we can continue to learn about what works and what doesn't, and to continue to give people choice and control about the support.
I do agree that it would be a good idea for right control to be extended for a further 12 months and for the Trailblazer projects to be extended for a further 12 months. I believe there's still a need to do further testing of alternative systems for delivery of support to disabled people. I think there's been a lot learned in the first 18 months to date of the Trailblazers, but I think the evidence to date and the feedback from all stakeholders and customers is that there certainly would be benefits in further extension of the Trailblazer, and to allow further opportunities for the stakeholders to test out new approaches, do further evaluation of the activity that's taken place to date, and to get more experience really of individual experiences from customers to help inform future policy.
I was introduced to the rights control when I was in the Floyd unit. It was actually a lady that came into the Floyd Centre and told me all about rights control, and she brought a booklet in.
Excellent.
And I read the booklet and I thought, these are the people who can make a difference. Because after my brain tumour I was very depressed. I didn't see a way forward, and they helped me to get control back of my own life.
Brilliant. And
get me back to being me. I was given a support plan, and that did, well, shopping was one of my main ones, and just the right to understand and to move on, and to, when I say stop feeling sorry for myself, I mean it gave me other avenues to think about, which were very positive. The only area I found it difficult for me was the housing. I've had to give up my house, and perhaps if I'd have known a little bit more, perhaps I could have got more information about that. But that's the only thing. All the rest has been extremely positive.
Excellent.
The one-to-one is very important, and it enables people to speak freely.
Excellent.
And I felt quite empowered that somebody was listening to me and was understanding where I was coming from.